A woman rushes home at night, panicked and feeling as though she's being pursued. Once she reaches her apartment and locks the door, she breathes a sigh of relief, believing she's safe at last. Curious, she peers through the peephole to see if anyone followed her, but no one is there. Venturing further into her home, she tries to switch on the lights, only to find they won't work. Puzzled, she attempts to use a lamp, but it too fails. Suddenly, the microwave switches on by itself, only to abruptly stop moments later. Then the refrigerator door creaks open on its own and a wet hand slaps against the floor. Slowly, the eerie figure of a woman's body begins to emerge. As the ghoul draws nearer, the woman lets out a terrified scream, only for it to be revealed as a fictional tale from a television show called Candlelight Junji. While the two hosts discuss how frightening the story was, the show's main character, 16-year-old Miko Yotsuya, calmly emerges from her room, seemingly indifferent to the eerie program. However, Miko's unshaken demeanor has a deeper explanation. She is no stranger to fear, as she regularly encounters supernatural beings that would terrify most people. Miko has the unique ability to see the supernatural, regularly waking up to terrifying sights that would unsettle most people. As she leaves home, her family greets her, and her mother, Toko Yotsuya, suggests she take an umbrella since it's expected to rain. Miko declines, casually saying she can always buy one at the convenience store if needed. At school, she's suddenly tackled in the hallway by her cheerful and energetic best friend, Hana Yurikawa, whose abundant chest makes quite an impact. Always lively and perpetually hungry, Hana playfully scolds Miko for showing no reaction to her dramatic greeting. The two friends chat excitedly about the keychains they bought at the bookstore, but their conversation is interrupted by their annoyed classmate, Yuria Nigaredo, who impatiently tells them to step aside. Yuria briefly pauses, glancing back at Miko and Hana as if about to say something, but ultimately decides against it and continues walking. Later, in class, the teacher discusses a book where a character transforms from a man into a tiger, questioning how distressing such a change must have been. As the teacher speaks, Miko gazes out the window and notices a ball moving on its own. The teacher catches her daydreaming and asks her to read the next passage aloud. Miko obediently stands and begins reading. During lunch, Hana excitedly talks about how happy she is to eat, prompting Miko to remind her that she had already devoured a pack of bread earlier. Hana dismisses it as just a snack, earning a playful remark from Miko, who calls her a bottomless pit. As Hana chatters about her unhealthy eating habits, she casually mentions that the power at her house has been cutting out and other odd things have been happening. Miko finds this unsettling, especially after hearing faint noises in the hallway. Her unease grows when she later goes to the bathroom and hears a loud banging on the door. After school, Miko and Hana walk home together. Hana mentions needing to shop for new underwear later and asks if Miko wants to join her. Miko agrees, and Hana casually comments that she needs new bras because her current ones are getting too tight. Miko, embarrassed, tells her that's more information than she needed. The two part ways, with Hana heading off and Miko about to head home when she realizes her keychain is missing. Miko returns to school to search for it and eventually finds it under the teacher's desk. As she reaches down to pick it up, she hears a noise behind her, but when she checks, there's nothing there. On her way home, her mother's prediction proves true. It's raining. After arriving, Miko texts Hana a picture of herself drenched from the rain, but her phone starts acting strangely, sending a distorted picture back to her. The AI voice on her phone begins repeating the same message and sends more images until one morphs into a monstrous figure. Horrified, Miko drops her phone in fear. Although shaken, she tries to compose herself. However, before she can calm down, a ghoul appears, staring directly at her and asking if she can see it. Maintaining her usual stoic demeanor, Miko ignores the ghoul and pretends she's simply waiting for the bus. The ghoul persists, repeatedly asking if she can see it, but Miko continues to act as though she doesn't notice. Eventually, the ghoul disappears. But throughout the encounter, Miko is silently terrified. At home, Miko finds herself alone, as her parents are out for the evening. While brushing her teeth and getting ready for bed, she encounters another ghost, this time resembling a businessman. The ghost repeatedly asks if she can see him, and Miko pretends to have something in her eye to avoid reacting. However, when she goes to clean her eye, she is filled with terror. The ghost continues to question her for 20 agonizing minutes before finally leaving. Desperate for protection, Miko places salt at her bedroom door in an attempt to ward off spirits. She also searches online for prayer beads, hoping they might help. Just as she begins to relax, she turns over in bed, only to find another ghost beside her, proving that the salt didn't work. The next morning, Miko nervously checks her bathroom and heads to the bus stop, relieved not to encounter the ghosts from the previous day. Just as she begins to feel a sense of normalcy, she is greeted by the ghost of a teacher wishing her a good morning, causing her to burst into tears. Two, as the ghost stares at Miko, she maintains a calm, straight face, looking ahead while gripping her skirt tightly, trembling with fear. Her friend Hana, oblivious to the situation, misinterprets Miko's intense gaze, briefly assuming she might be trying to ask her out. In the girls' locker room, a group of students chat about the latest episode of Candlelight Junji, featuring a scary story about a severed head. Hana, showing her aversion to anything scary, begins crying and calling the story gross, wondering how such things are even allowed on TV. Miko remains composed, understanding her friend's inability to handle horror. Hana admits that even seeing something remotely scary in the past had made her vomit. As she goes on a rant about how terrifying horror shows are, she suddenly asks Miko to open her locker for her. Confused, Miko asks why, and Hana explains she's afraid a severed head might be inside. Though Miko initially finds Hana's fear silly, her friend's anxiety starts to rub off on her, making her slightly uneasy. When she opens the locker, Miko is relieved to find it empty, dismissing the fear as pure imagination. But just as she relaxes, a ghostly head unexpectedly appears, startling her. Miko quickly backs away and turns around, pretending she didn't see it, allowing Hana to change her clothes without noticing anything strange. Moments later, Hana asks Miko to grab her phone, saying she can't reach it. Without questioning how Hana ended up in that position, Miko obliges. However, as she retrieves the phone, the ghost tries to scare her again. Miko stays composed, doing her best to ignore it. Miko, though terrified, maintains a stoic expression, handing Hana her phone and closing the locker. But as soon as she steps away, she collapses to the floor. In class, Hana nudges Miko, telling her she has a problem. It turns out that while changing, Hana forgot to put on her underwear. Miko calls her an idiot, and this moment reminds her why she's so close to Hana. She's always there to distract her and keep her from going mad, especially with all the ghosts around the school. When Hana interrupts Miko's thoughts to ask if she wants to join her in the locker room, Miko quickly refuses, stating she's not going there. Hana, unbothered, says she has no issue going without underwear. As Hana reaches for her book, she casually asks Miko if she wants to go to a store with her, as there's a half-off sale. Meanwhile, Miko is horrified to see a ghost hovering around Hana. Unable to bear it any longer, she pushes her desk aside and rushes out of the classroom. However, Hana stops her to ask if she wants to lean on her and go to the nurse's office. Miko, seeing that the ghost has become comfortable with Hana, decides to let it go. Hana cracks a joke about not being able to hear her heartbeat due to her chest size, teasing whether she should check Miko's. This makes Miko want to hit her. While glancing at a bottle of rubbing alcohol, Miko gets an idea. She tells Hana that stethoscopes are filled with bacteria, and Hana, shocked, asks for some. Miko pretends to spray her hands but aims directly at Hana's chest. The ghost begins to tremble, and Miko believes the disinfectant is having an effect, as it stops holding onto her chest. However, Hana gets angry and demands an apology. Miko worries she's made things worse when Hana moves closer to grab the bottle of disinfectant. As the ghost inches closer, Miko fears it will target her next. While Hana continues her mock doctor's exam, Miko urgently begs her to hurry as she can smell the ghost's foul breath. Just then, Kido-sensei arrives and scolds them for skipping class, ordering them to leave. As the two girls leave, the ghost shifts its attention to Kido-sensei, seemingly attracted to her larger chest, and wraps itself around her. On the way back to class, Hana notices Miko seems down and asks what's wrong. Miko insists she's fine but feels oddly defeated. After school, they head to the store with the 50% off sale, but there's a huge line outside. Hana rushes to join the line, while Miko, distracted by her phone, isn't paying attention. As she scrolls, Hana calls out for her to hurry, and Miko notices the line is filled with ghosts. Panicking, Miko freaks out, prompting an annoyed Hana to scold her for being on her phone too much and not paying attention, saying she could have gotten hit by a car. Hana jokes that if it weren't for her, Miko might have ended up in a ditch. Miko thinks she's exaggerating until she sees what the ghosts were lining up for. Realizing Hana saved her, Miko thanks her, feeling indebted. On the way home, they find an adorable abandoned kitten in a box. As the two girls admire it, Miko's joy turns to fear when she sees another ghost. While they play with the cat, Miko notices that it seems to sense the ghost, making her wonder if the cat is haunted. As Hana spins around with the cat, She accidentally bumps into a man who looks like a gangster, startling her. The two girls wait in the park, and a boy approaches, asking to adopt the cat. Hana is ready to let him take it, as he seems kind and gentle, but Miko refuses. To Miko, this boy is the most haunted person she's ever seen, with spirits constantly following him. Despite Hana's questioning, Miko insists on not letting him adopt the cat and hands it over to the gangster instead. To Miko's surprise, the gangster is surrounded by heavenly spirits who assure her that he will be a great owner for the cat. It's another peaceful morning, and Miko is running late for school, with her barely making it on the bus. Her friend gives her a text to meet her at Starbucks at 2 p.m., with her agreeing to go. With that out the way, she continues to look over prayer beads online, with them all being around $25, being rather expensive for a high school student. When Miko looks up, the person that was a seat across from her is now a seat in front of her. She then hears a loud conversation by a group of Jaru girls. Miko looks back to see who's talking, but as she looks around, she doesn't see the group of girls, with people looking like they'd rather sleep than talk. But the conversation continues to be there, as it's now repeating itself, with Miko thinking it must be the alternative being another one of her supernatural events. The girl decides to try and ignore it as usual, with the person in front of her transforming into a ghost blob of the girls. Miko is freaked out, but powers through as she's a pro by now when it comes to the supernatural. But then the bus driver calls out her stop, but when Miko reaches to push the button, she hesitates. Ultimately, she pushes the button. The ghost continues to stare at her to see any movement. When the bus calls out her stop, the ghost girl goes out to further chase her, but Miko doesn't get off the bus. The bus driver calls a couple more times, but Miko stays on the bus, confusing the ghost girl. Just then, another girl gets a call from her friend, repeating the same phrase the ghost girl said, making Miko want to cry. Later, Miko goes to Starbucks, with her waiting for Hana. Just then, Miko spots a handsome boy talking on the phone. The boy is talking on the phone to his girlfriend, who he's telling how much he cares about her. What Miko finds odd is to see a ghost woman follow him, with her repeatedly saying she loves him. The ghost licks his face, and the boy, unaware of this ghost, replies that he loves the girl. This makes the ghost repeat she loves him multiple times. The boy spots Miko looking at him, and Miko shyly looks away. The boy mistakes Miko for having a crush on him when she's actually afraid the ghost woman saw her. The ghost girl, who's dripping wet, walks over to Miko, screaming that she can't have him. Miko tries to ignore the ghost by looking on her phone, calling this guy cool, with the boy thinking she's talking about him. The ghost says that Yukun, being the boy's name, is hers. The woman ghost decides to look at her phone to see if the girl is telling the truth, only to see her watching a super manly wrestler from America known as Anaconda the Badger. Looking back at the manly man and her Yukun, she can see the girl has completely different taste when it comes to men, deeming she's safe. Luckily, her friend Hana walks in, loudly greeting Miko. Miko gets up as she has a great excuse to leave, but just then the pretty boy gets up to talk to the girl as he noticed her staring at him. The boy is completely bad news, as he's a player who already wants to get her number. Miko doesn't think twice about ignoring him. Hana questions who the guy is, and she replies with a who and drags her friend away. But Hana wants to get a red bean latte before they leave. The guy is mad, as he was sure she'd bite to his advances. Just then, his girlfriend shows up, who he's less thrilled in seeing. The girl in question has even more ghosts follow her, who say they love her, with it looking like the two are perfect for each other, as they both are toxic people who drive their lovers crazy. In the future, Miko manages to buy 4 sets of bracelets to ward off spirits, with her hoping this will work. Hana, not knowing why her friend bought so many sets of prayer beads, asks Miko if it's a trend now. Miko replies that it is, but Hana tells her she hasn't seen any girls walking around with. Miko tells her it'll be popular soon, with this making Hana bummed out, as she wished she bought some in advance too. Miko then is reminded of how much ghosts are attracted to Hana, so as a good friend lets Hana have 2 sets of beads. Hana is happy she gets to be a part of the trend and invites Miko to go get a bum cake with her. Hana leads the girl down a sketchy alleyway, but Miko stops, as the alley is filled with at least 30 ghost spirits. Miko rushes to grab Hana, but a ghoul then steps back. Noticing that the monster backed off makes her think the beads are working. Hana reminds Miko of the strawberry bun cake, and Miko follows her. While walking, Miko feels greatly empowered, seeing the ghost back away from her now. This is all until one ghost stands in her way. Miko, feeling unstoppable, pushes the prayer bead closer, and the ghost calls it itchy, with it then shattering the beads. Miko is caught in an awkward spot, as she now has to walk through the ghost, as if she tries to move around it, then it'll know that she can see them. So she bravely walks through the ghost. Hana sees that her beads broke and tells her she should go get a refund. But just then, Hana notices that she dropped her bunny backpack. She tries to reach and pick it up, with her instead being caught inside the ghost, with her crying. The two girls eat their butt cakes, and Hana offers to give back the bracelets, and Miko tells her she's fine to keep them. Meanwhile, the weird goth girl, Yuria Negredu, is doing a poor job in hiding, with her stalking a fortune teller shop. At the shop, an older, chubby woman is praising the shop as, with this bracelet, all the guys are finding her desirable now. The old woman chuckles and tells her to come back when the power runs out so she can refill it for 30,000. As the woman runs out, telling her she'll do that. Old woman straight does not care that the woman only got 2 more uses of it, as she's too busy counting her money. As the woman is putting away her money in a briefcase, she sees the handwritten note from her daughter, who tells her to come live with them so his family can take care of her because she's old. The woman is thankful, but stubbornly doesn't do so, as she doesn't want to be looked at as a burden. Just then, Miko walks up to the store, asking if the woman has any prayer beads. The old woman pleasantly greets them like a kind old lady, saying she has some in the back, but secretly doesn't want to see to some kids, as kids don't have any real money on them. So she comes back with some random cheap bracelets to sell. Miko asks if she can take a look at them, and the woman allows it. Miko then proceeds to put the bracelets on, only for them to instantly combust. Instead of being mad, the woman apologizes for the rubber being too old. She turns away, saying that she might be a rotten scammer, but she's not going to let this child suffer, with her nickname being Godmother. Looking back, she can see an outline for a black haze following her. Back with Miko, it's the same ghost from earlier that managed to break her prayer bracelet, with it following her. The old woman starts to ask if Miko has been seeing anything strange, but Miko quickly denies it. The old woman can tell this girl is tough, as she's clearly able to see it, but won't acknowledge it, praising the bravery of her. She then turns to Hana, with the girl having a powerful aura, with Hana being the reason the number of ghost multiples around Miko, but the girl can't see it. The old woman then butts in the combination for the safe, with her not willing to abandon a girl the same age of her grandchild. With her coming back with the most powerful item in her collection, with it being some of that good stuff. She brags how this is in a whole different league than the last one, with the old woman not even charging the girl. But to her utter shock, when Miko puts it on the ghost behind her, freaks out and starts to wild out, breaking the beads, which sucks, as the old lady needed to go to the hospital, but at least the giant ghost stopped following her.
For in the morning, Miko is having a bad dream, breathing heavy, and talking in her sleep. But to the outside, it looks different. Her little brother, Kyusuk, is the first thing she sees, and the girl jumps, telling him not to stand over her while she's sleeping, as it makes him look creepy, nearly giving the girl a heart attack. Kyusuk ignores her to ask if she was having a stimulating dream, as she was making dirty sounds. On reflex, the girl grabs her pillow to throw at him, but the boy is already gone, with the girl having another bad dream.
At the convenience store Dawson's, Miko goes in for the special time offer, chestnut pudding. Hana walks over, telling Miko that the chestnut pudding is really good, as she had it last year, with her reaching to get one for herself, with the hungry girl also deciding to get some melon bread. Miko is slightly jealous the girl gets to eat that much and have all of it go to her boobs. At the checkout, Miko is short a couple yen for the food, so when she reaches into her purse to get more change, a scary-looking ghost of a convenience store worker tells her the exact change. Miko just stares at the ghost, with the guy being confused why the girl isn't responding, asking if she's buying anything else. Miko decides to then get a fish cake, with the ghost adding a 3% tax, with her giving the fish cake to Hana in the end. At home, the kids are watching another episode of Scary Stories. The parents tell them not to stay up too late, and Miko and Kyusuke agree. The host then shows the audience a picture of a happy couple that went camping by the lake, but says that there's something ominous lurking in the shadows, with him zooming closer into the picture to show a scary-looking face hiding in the tent, which was probably edited into the picture. With the brother Kyusuke repeating what I just said, with a more frightened Miko agreeing with him. But as the story is about to start, the two get a commercial, with the brother rightfully complaining about capitalism, with them getting a commercial about a very attractive woman and the hair products she uses. This makes the girl jump up, ready to leave, with her telling her brother she's going to go out to get a drink, with him telling her to bring him back a soda. On a side note, I'm kind of jealous that they just have vending machines 2 mins away from their house. Like, imagine this by your house. At the vending machine, Miko decides to have something warm like a red bean soup since it's getting pretty chilly outside, but the girl ends up dropping the coin. She bends down to see a small looking gnome creature. The two lock eyes, and the tiny old man makes a run for it. Compared to what she's seen, she thinks it's rather harmless. Miko surprisingly tries to make a big show of her dropping the coin again, with her now having a reason to go chase down the coin to see the gnome again, being a big mistake as she messed around and found out. She acts like she can't see them and goes to get her coin. The ghost old man goes to play a joke on her and gets in her way. Miko continues to go for the coin and grabs it, but the ghost then puts out a fog of old man breath that smells like old stinky barnacles. It's so bad that Miko wants to cry, but as she's about to break her cover and run away, a bird swoops in and saves her by taking her coin. She comes home empty-handed, with her brother worried because she said she got robbed, with the coin from the crow being under their couch as a dark fog reveals two gnomes. In the future, Miko and Hana walk home from school saying goodbye to each other. Miko internally cries because she saw so many scary monsters at school. As she's walking, she has the feeling that she's being watched by someone. At school, Kyosuke is talking to his friend about his sister, with the girl acting strange lately, saying she's saying weird stuff in her sleep, with the friend unable to know why. When another middle school girl walks over thinking she has a boyfriend, as her older sister acted the same way when she got one, with this making Kyosuke decide to follow her to see if it's true. Miko goes to the bookstore to look up a book on paranormal oddities. Kyosuke starts to think if Miko has a boyfriend, then the guy must be the type to keep her all to himself, thinking he needs to save her from an overprotective boyfriend. Miko finishes reading the book and puts it back. When Kyosuke goes to see what book she was reading, he finds the book titled 99 Ways to Please Your Lover. He picks up the book horrified, as the first chapter he reads is over hickeys. That night, Miko is back in her house about to take a shower and bath, being a Japanese tradition. While Miko is in the bath, Kyosuke is outside making a plan on what to do. While in the bath, a dark ghost of a woman scares her. But when she wakes up, the woman is gone, making her think she needs to get some sleep, as these nightmares have her seeing things. But this wasn't the case because she looks to the side to see a skeleton of a ghost sit down. Miko can't take this and is about to get out the bath, but the skeleton mirrors her actions. As she's about to lose her mind, the situation is saved by her brother, who isn't wearing anything, as he says he's figured it out. But looking at her, Kyosuke is embarrassed as he realizes she's older now. Kyosuke came here because that book from the library freaked him out, and he was worried his older sister climbed the steps of adulthood, to only see she's safe, but realizing they're too old to bath together. But Miko takes this lifeline as she's terrified of the ghost, asking Kyosuke to come in so she can wash his back. The two talk, and Kyosuke asks if she has a boyfriend, and she tells him that she doesn't. The next morning, Miko thinks about how every day she makes a wish, being that she won't see any ghosts today. But again, it doesn't come true. She tries to stay positive, remembering that today is the day she gets her super special fall batch of pudding. But when she walks into the kitchen, she sees a giant monster that's all around her family. While her family is teasing her about having a boyfriend, the monster starts to talk to her and repeat what the family is saying. Miko is terrified and doesn't want to eat the food as the monster licked it. Miko can't take it and leaves for school, but stops. She goes to the fridge to get her pudding, then goes to her room to make a shrine for her father. Her parents question why she does this, but the girl doesn't answer. As she next places the pudding at the center of the shrine to ward off the monsters haunting him, the father cries as he apologizes for eating it last time, with Miko crying over the death of her pudding. But it turns out the father is actually dead. At the fortune teller's shop, Yuria is yelling at the godmother, begging to be her apprentice. The old woman can't take this girl, who sounds like a squirrel, seriously. She sighs, having already told the girl that she's not taking any apprentices right now. The old woman looks at Yuria with disapproval, assuming she doesn't have any money and believing she's an elementary schooler. Yuria corrects her, saying she's in high school, but the old woman doesn't believe her and doesn't care either way. She gives Yuria a set of prayer beads similar to the ones Miko had. Yuria's face lights up as she quickly puts the bracelet on, thinking the woman has agreed to make her an apprentice. Just then, Yuria demonstrates that she can also see ghosts, pointing out one minding its own business. She decides to leave it alone for now and heads home. On her way, she spots another ghost, as she can see things beyond the physical world. Unlike Miko, Yuria isn't scared of them and claims to have a secret power. Her goal is to learn how to exorcise spirits, believing she is special and born for this purpose. She's convinced she needs a teacher and sees the godmother as perfect for the role. The next day, Yuria goes to the shop, only to find it closed. An old man, the fortune teller's neighbor, tells her the woman has moved back to the countryside. Yuria, distraught, runs to the old man to ask why. He doesn't know the full details, but explains that the woman said she wanted to rediscover herself and test her limits. Yuria feels disappointed, as she wanted someone with a stronger spiritual connection to guide her. The man recommends she visit the godmother's last two customers, who, he claims, drove her to shut down the store. He points to Hana and Miko. Yuria immediately hides upon seeing them. She knows them from being in the class above hers and secretly wishes to be friends with them but refuses to admit it. Hana and Miko see the closed shop, with Hana unsurprised, as the prayer beads the godmother gave them had broken. Yuria calls her an amateur under her breath, shocked by the perceived disrespect to her role model. Hana dismisses it and runs off to eat a butt bun. However, she's about to walk through a ghost when Miko stops her, saying there's a cockroach in her path. Yuria observes this and realizes Miko helped Hana avoid the ghost. The next day at school, the girls are playing volleyball during gym class. Miko is standing in line when Yuria walks up to her, asking if she could help put away the equipment. This, however, is just an excuse to talk to her in private. Once inside the storage room, Yuria shuts the door, revealing that she's been watching Miko for a while. She tells Miko that she's realized they're similar. As she says this, gnome-like ghosts emerge from the container holding the volleyballs. Yuria declares that Miko can see them too and admits she's been observing her for a few days. She calls Miko's ability to ignore the bizarre things around her insane. Unlike Miko, Yuria understands the habits of different ghosts, explaining that gnomes prefer dark, damp places. Yuria confides that she knows why Miko keeps her ability a secret, sharing her own experience of being ridiculed in middle school for talking about ghosts. She expresses relief that someone else can understand her. Miko continues to act confused, and Yuria grows frustrated, accusing her of playing dumb. She points to the harmless gnome ghosts, trying to prove her point, but Miko reacts as if they're cockroaches and hides behind her. Yuria can't believe the girl who supposedly made the godmother retire is acting powerless. She questions whether Miko thinks she isn't worth her time. Annoyed, Yuria yells that she knows Miko can see the gnomes on the floor. Miko internally agrees, but realizes Yuria can't see the octopus hand monster looming behind her. The creature moves out of the container, almost slipping out the door before stopping. It senses that Miko might be able to see it and directly asks if she can. Miko continues to feign ignorance, puzzled by why Yuria can see the small ghosts, but not the larger ones. The creature looks back and forth between the two girls, questioning if either of them can truly see it. Yuria, determined to prove her strength, pulls out her prayer beads and declares herself the godmother's apprentice, ready to banish the spirit. However, as she tries to activate the beads' power, they break in front of the larger spirit. Yuria is shocked as the larger octopus-like monster begins to thrash, convinced that she can see it. Miko starts to panic, thinking Yuria's actions have made things worse. Yuria feels dejected, now believing she's powerless to expel even the small, manly ghosts. Hearing the word manly, she's reminded of her favorite wrestler and, in a moment of inspiration, puts Miko in a chokehold. She apologizes in advance, thinking this is the only way to keep the ghost from attacking them. Yuria ends up passing out and later wakes up in the nurse's office with Miko sitting by her bedside. Upon seeing Miko, Yuria freaks out, initially thinking she's dead. An understandable reaction given everything that happened. Miko realizes why Yuria might be afraid of her now and feels guilty, knowing she probably shouldn't have done what she did. She debates whether to reveal more about her own abilities, but decides against it. While it's true she can see the smaller ghosts, Miko worries that telling Yuria would only put her in greater danger, as she wouldn't know how to handle the larger ones. Miko stands up and gives Yuria a formal apology for her actions. However, she hints that it's better Yuria doesn't know everything for her own safety. With that, Miko walks away, leaving Yuria to process what happened. To Yuria, Miko's words sounded like a threat from the afterlife, as if she were warning her that next time she'd be more aggressive. Miko's perceived death stare seemed to command Yuria to act like everything was normal. Yuria is internally crying, unsure of what to do. Suddenly, Hana approaches Yuria, asking if the rumors about her choking out a girl from class 2 to death are true. Miko doesn't deny it, but clarifies that the girl is still alive. Later, After some late night underwear shopping with Hana, Miko is walking home across a bridge. While descending some stairs, she encounters a weird, creepy looking ghost. She does what she usually does, tries to ignore it, but this time the ghost touches her. To her surprise, it turns out not to be a creepy ghost, but an elderly grandmother. While giving the grandmother a piggyback ride, Miko admits that she sees so many ghosts that it's becoming harder to distinguish them from real people. She takes the old woman home, where they are stopped by the woman's daughter, who scolds her mother for wandering off. The daughter thanks Miko for helping and explains that her mother, who has lost her husband, sometimes forgets her own family due to her age. Grateful, the daughter offers to fetch some steamed buns she recently made as a gift. While the daughter steps away, Miko checks her phone but soon hears a ghostly man in a business suit. The ghost starts repeating the numbers 4631. As usual, Miko tries to ignore it, assuming it's just nonsensical gibberish from another ghost. Despite this, the ghost keeps moving closer, relentlessly repeating the numbers. While Miko is distracted, the old woman grabs her arm, curious about the device in her hand. At first, Miko wonders why the old lady is so strong, but then she starts to explain that it's her smartphone. To demonstrate how it works, Miko decides to make a call, using the numbers 4631. The old grandmother immediately reacts upon seeing the numbers and thanks Miko again. She then walks past her daughter and heads to her room, going straight to a safe, using the code 4631. She opens it. The daughter, confused, questions why her mother is trying again, as she's forgotten the code since her husband passed away. This time, however, the safe opens, revealing the woman's most cherished possessions, including a comb her husband had bought her. The old woman's memories flood back and she recalls everything, including her daughter's name. The two reunite as a family. The ghostly man in the business suit approaches Miko. She's still afraid of him, but he stops, bows, and thanks her before reverting to a mindless ghost. The next day, Miko is unsure of what to think when she sees the same ghostly man in line to be eaten by another monster.
This is where we're going to have to leave off for today. If you like this video, here's another one just like it that you should check out. I will be breaking this anime down into multiple parts. Now, if you liked this video, make sure to like the video. Why not subscribe? I'll be uploading daily videos like this one. I'll see you next time.